Which early Roman emperor focused on building fortifications and defense? Hadrian. Who was the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire when it fell? Romulus Augustulus. What was the biggest reason for Athens' defeat in the Sicilian expedition? Loss of troops and lack of supplies. Who was the Venezuelan revolutionary that led to the independence of several South American countries from Spain? Simón Bolívar. What theme does the Epic of Gilgamesh explore? The quest for eternal life. What is the movement called that expelled Islamic forces from medieval Spain? Reconquista. What was the name of the failed industrialization policy pursued in 1960s China? Great Leap Forward. How was the pharaoh regarded in Egypt? As a representative of the gods. What were the main reasons for the decline of the Roman economy in the late Roman Empire? Excessive taxes and inflation. What was one of the significant military defense strategies used by early Roman emperors? Construction of walls and fortresses. What is the expansionist policy pursued by powers in the 19th century for acquiring colonies called? Imperialism. Who was the primary author of the Declaration of Independence in the United States? Thomas Jefferson. What did the Phoenicians develop that served as the foundation for later writing systems? Alphabet. What was Emperor Qin Shi Huang's most cherished treasure symbolizing the unification of China? He Shi Bai Jade Seal. Who was the founder of the Persian Empire? Cyrus the Great. What was the main purpose for which ancient kings used religion in governance? To gain obedience and legitimacy for rule. What was the system in ancient Athens where citizens were selected to hold specific positions? Selection of public officials. What was one of the obligations that serfs had to provide to lords in medieval Europe? Labor service. What is the philosophical method advocated by Socrates for exploring truth through questioning? Dialectic method, Socratic dialogue. What were the main reasons for the longer duration of the Eastern Roman Empire compared to the Western Roman Empire? Economic prosperity and strong administration. Who was the national poet and revolutionary leader of the 1848 Hungarian independence movement? Petőfi. What was the 1911 revolution that overthrew the Qing dynasty in China? Shennai Revolution. What is the assembly where Athenian citizens gathered to discuss state policies? Assembly. Who was the Spanish conquistador that conquered the Inca Empire? Francisco Pizarro. What was one of the most severe conditions imposed on Germany by the Treaty of Versailles after World War I? Massive reparations. Who was the leader that carried out the Cuban Revolution and established a socialist regime? Fidel Castro. What is the name of the large-scale peasant rebellion led by Hong Xiuquan at the end of the Qing dynasty? Taiping Rebellion. In World War I, around which front were trench wars primarily conducted? Western Front. Who is the goddess of the hearth and home among the 12 Olympian gods? Hestia. Who was the emperor that founded the first unified empire in China, the Qin, and began the construction of the Great Wall? Qin Shi Huang. What information can be learned from the murals on Assyrian palace walls? King's conquests and lifestyle. What was the main basis of power in feudal society? Land ownership. Who was the general leading the Theban forces that defeated Sparta at the Battle of Leuctra? Epaminondas. How did the victorious countries of World War I divide colonies? Mandate system. What was the key reason the Phoenicians prospered through maritime trade? Superior shipbuilding and navigation skills. What was the dynasty of Cyrus the Great, who founded the ancient Persian Empire? Achaemenid dynasty. What was the purpose behind Qin Shi Huang's book burning? Ideological unification and maintenance of power. What was the first script used in Mesopotamian civilization? Cuneiform script. What was the name of the guerrilla forces of North Vietnam's communists during the Vietnam War? Viet Cong. Who painted The Last Supper? Leonardo da Vinci. Thank you for watching until the end. We'd love to hear your feedback and historical insights in the comments. Your support helps us create even more history quizzes. Let's keep exploring together.